recently, I did have a pretty traumatic experience in my life. I went to take a shit, and when I looked down, I saw like a lot of blood in the toilet, like more than I'm used to. Like I was scared. Like I got up and I was like, oh my god. Like I went on Google, found that I was about to die. So I go to the urgent care, and the secretary is like, hello sir, how are you today? And I hate when they ask you that because like I'm not good. I'm Indian. I don't even remember exactly how it came out, but it was something along the lines of, do you have a butt guy here because I just shit blood? And I know that I said it kind of like that because her face was like, yeah, I think we have a specialist in here. Just take a seat. A couple minutes later, the butt guy comes out, and he's like, all right, you're the guy? And I'm like, yeah, that's me. And he's like, all right, come on in. He gives me this little paper robe to put on that just shows my And I'm giving him the whole rundown about everything, and he's like, all right, well, I'm going to have to take a look. I'm like, I kind of knew that was coming. So, of course, it's him and this young female nurse that's, like, probably my age. And I roll on my side, and, like, the paper's crinkling from the stupid robe and everything, and he's behind me, and she's in front of me. And he's just looking like it's weird. You just feel someone touching your asshole. And he goes, nurse, come here a second. Take a look at this. And I'm like, and he goes, see this little scarring around 12 o'clock? 12 o'clock. And she's like, yeah. Like, I could tell by her voice she didn't want to look. And he's like, no, take a close look. Like, you're not going to see this many times. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? So she's looking, and he checks everything, and he goes, well, I did see a scar, but it doesn't look big enough to cause the amount of bleeding you're describing. So I'm like, so like, what happens now? He takes out a glove, and he's like, due to the nature of the situation, I think you know what happens now. I'm like, I do know what happens now. So he goes, all right, just roll back on your side. He grabbed me by my hips and rolled me over. He goes, I'm going to lube up, and on the count of 3, you're going to feel it. And I'm like, all right. So he counts to 3, and I feel it just shoot up my butt. And I'm like, oh, my God, this is so weird. It's like swirling around. Like, you feel everything. It's really weird. I got a little messed up because, like, it felt pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh my god, like I'm missing. I'm 26 and I'm just finding out about this now. I got even more confused because a few seconds later, I realized his hands are both still on my hips. No, he finishes up and he goes, I still didn't notice anything wrong, so I'm gonna have you get a stomach x-ray. And I'm like, like this is not okay. Like I'm getting scared. So I go to the x-ray lady, I put my clothes back on, I walk over, and she goes, all right, just lay on the table and pull your shorts down just to the top of your knee. And I'm like, all right, so, fucking everything's hanging out now. And she's looking at me like I'm crazy, and I'm like, what? She goes, I only wanted you to pull your shorts down. Your underwear could have stayed on. Like, this is just how the night was going. I felt like such a like, hey, x-ray lady, check it out. Like, I'm not that kind of guy, I promise. So I go back to the doctor after the x-ray. He goes, well, the x-ray was okay. The procedure, I didn't feel anything. And the examination was just the scar. So he thinks I'm lying now. He thinks I came here for like a quick $15 and then I get out, right? And I'm like, well, something caused it. Like, I'm not making this up, I swear to God. And he goes, well, the scar might have been big enough to cause the bleeding you're talking about. And I'm like, but you said it wasn't. And he goes, yeah, but I noticed it right away, As soon as I started looking, I noticed it was a big scar. And I'm like, well, a scar from what? He's like, I don't know, maybe you took a big dump or something and it just kind of teared. And I was like, that's weird. And then I thought to myself, if he noticed that scar right away, he didn't really have to do any of that other shit that he did. Because he noticed that was what the bleeding was from. He thinks I lied, I think he lied, but either way, I did ask him out to dinner after. I asked maybe he could check me again, off duty sometime, I don't know. He's into that, but that's my time, so thank you.
Woo!